Now, if you're going to talk about the worst neighborhoods in Philadelphia, the list is really long. A much shorter list would be the best neighborhoods in Philadelphia. But we're not going to do that. Nobody wants to know that, and you wouldn't watch it. I know you well. Today we're going to talk about the bad hoods in Philadelphia. The places we're going to talk about are generally going to be right around here, right north of Center City and generally along the New Jersey state line. In some of these areas, you could score some dope, hear gunshots, and watch some medics revive a fentanyl junkie within a short walk. Much of this area is in the Philadelphia Badlands, an area of Philadelphia with an urban landscape characterized by vacant warehouses and tightly packed strips of brick row homes. These are the working class neighborhoods where crime and drugs are simply out of control. Of course, much of Philadelphia's woes are because of an economic decline following a loss of manufacturing. As it stands today, Philadelphia has lost 500,000 people in the last 50 years, and as a whole, it's one of the most dangerous and poor places in the country. So let's begin. We begin in a neighborhood smack dab in the middle of all the bad neighborhoods of Philly, Frankford. This part of town is northeast of Center City, about halfway to the airport from downtown proper. Back in the late 80s, this was a scary place too. There was a murderer called the Frankford Slasher. And one particular intersection at Bridge and Hawthorne was listed as the number 6 top recreational drug corners in the nation. It's a pretty diverse neighborhood, home to a variety of ethnic groups. But like many places in America, there's a history of racial tension here. You definitely wouldn't want to live here. Well, you and I wouldn't. Just a few train stops away from Frankford along Kensington Ave is the terrible neighborhood of West Kensington. It's just east of Temple University. There's many parts of this neighborhood that are currently being gentrified, but it's still a really bad part of town. This is also the first neighborhood that we'll talk about, which is part of Philadelphia's Badlands. This is a region of North Philly that is really dangerous and blighted. Bad news, people here are broke. Half the households here earn less than $20,000 a year, which is well below the poverty line. Good news is homes are only $68,000, but they're affordable for a reason. They just had a triple shooting here only a few months ago. In fact, there's a lot of shootings in this teeny neighborhood. At least there's 2 hospitals only a few streets away, so many of the gunshot victims can just walk in and get treated. Our next worst neighborhood in Philly is Strawberry Mansion. That sounds delicious. It's not. This North Philly neighborhood has a reputation of one of the most dangerous hoods in the city. And up until 2013, Strawberry Mansion was also home to one of the most dangerous schools in the United States, Strawberry Mansion High, which was so bad that it was profiled by ABC News. This school had almost 100 security cameras and had metal detectors at every door, and teachers were attacked and riots broke out at lunch here. Things are so bad now that there's only 170 kids who attend the school, but it's supposed to have 2,100 kids. Look at the school's enrollment as compared to the rest of the schools in the surrounding area. That's incredible. However, it seems this neighborhood might be improving a bit as its west and south sides have been getting a little gentrified. As it stands, homes here now cost an absurdly low $48,000 in the middle of a major metro area. That's a far cry from what was once home to some of the wealthiest residents in Philadelphia. I mean, can you imagine $48,000 for a home? For comparison, in our most expensive city to buy a home in the USA, San Francisco, there's only 2 homes listed that are under $250,000, more than 5 times higher than the average home price in Strawberry Mansion. Back to the Badlands we go as we come to Stanton, an area right next door to Strawberry Mansion and on the west side of Temple University. Seems like attending Temple University is a dangerous proposition. Now, according to Zillow's Home Value Index, okay, well, I've not seen this before. It's blank. That can't be good. Okay, so Trulia says homes are about $41,000, far below what we even saw next door in Strawberry Mansion. Incomes are about $15,000 annually. That means half the population lives below the poverty line. Now, some of that's because some of the people here attend Temple University and they likely don't have jobs. But rundown homes, homeless stragglers, drug use, shootings, all plague this part of Philadelphia. This little neighborhood ranked 16th on our list last year, so they're getting bad fast. Just north of Kensington and west of Port Richmond is the neighborhood of Harrowgate. Some just generally refer to this little part of town as North Philly. It's kind of an unknown, poor, and very blighted part of town, largely populated by Puerto Ricans. It's easy to miss, but not hard to recognize when you wind up in it. Not too long ago, a teenager was caught in a crossfire when 30 shots rang out in this part of town. She was hit and nearly killed. That's not uncommon in Harrogate. Painkillers such as opioids are taking their toll on members of this ravaged neighborhood. Pharmacies in this part of town were given 26 million pain pills over a 7-year period, and there's only 65,000 people who live in this greater part of town. Now, Philadelphia as a whole is seeing more than just an epidemic. Although the pain pill market has somewhat been reined in, at one point in the greater 8-county Philadelphia metro area, more than 1.2 billion pain pills were shipped in over a 6-year period. That's incredible. Way up here on the north end of town is the neighborhood of Allegheny West. This is a poor black enclave that has suffered post-industrial decline and disinvestment. Allegheny West has suffered from one of the largest population losses of any neighborhood in Philly. Vacant industrial sites are so eye-opening that they use the area for movie sets. And talk about affordable, this neighborhood has the absolute lowest home price in the entire city, where the median home price is at about $26,000. That's incredible. Now, to put that into perspective, somebody with decent credit with zero down would expect to pay about $400 a month for their mortgage here, including all taxes and insurance. And no, I'm not a realtor. Crime, employment, schools, all get an F. Amenities, A+. What's there to do for amenities that would warrant an A+? They have a trolley car cafe and a country cooking. Must be some good cooking.
I like country cooking. I like to cook in general.
Well, that's good. Mappy, does your wife make some mean dumplings?
Not really. She gets upset when the food doesn't turn out well.
That's not surprising. Oh, hey, now that I have you two here, we had an alert viewer named Loco Bombay. Sorry, Loco, am I saying that right? Who wanted to know, what's Mrs. Mappy's IQ?
It's not very high. That's not nice.
So like 100? 95? Okay, I don't think we're going to get an answer to that. I think she's pretty smart. I mean, she picked Mappy and all, right? As we ponder that, it's time to move on to our next worst neighborhood in Philadelphia, Hunting Park. This not-so-charming section of town is also in North Philly, just south of Roosevelt Boulevard. There's a lot of gang activity here, boy. Although much of this area's crime stems from local neighborhood-based street gangs and the drug trade, larger, more organized gangs also operate in the area, including the Black Mafia, Latin Kings, and various motorcycle gangs. One commenter in North Philly once told the Philadelphia Weekly, for generations, Hunting Park served as the heart of the community. Then, about 25 years ago, it became its noose. Just 3 days ago, a young father was gunned down while driving his car through this neighborhood. Apparently, he had just won 10 grand at a local casino and people followed him home. Let's call somebody in Hunting Park and ask them why it's so bad there. My name is Nick, and I'm doing a YouTube video on the worst neighborhoods in Philadelphia, and Hunting Park is one of the worst neighborhoods, and I'm wondering why it's so bad there.
Yeah, honestly, I don't live here, brother. I live an hour away from here.
Well, is Hunting Park a bad place? Is it really, really bad and dangerous?
I wouldn't say. I don't know too much. It's just a little high crime area. That's what you want to say.
Okay, well, how come it is like notoriously famous for being so bad then?
Because of the shootings, the killings, the robberies, there's just a lot of stuff that happens in this neighborhood.
Oh man, that's too bad. Are they trying to fix it?
Yeah, they got a new police chief in town, Danielle Outlaw. She's from Portland, so she's going to try to change it up, but it's not going to happen overnight.
All right, man. Well, good. Well, I'm praying for you guys and hope you guys figure that out. All right, man?
All right, thank you.
Bye. All right. Somebody actually talked to us. I hope they figure that out. Good for them. Third on our list of the worst Philadelphia neighborhoods is the neighborhood of Nicetown-Tioga. It's not very nice here, though. You know things are bad when you Google the name of the neighborhood and the first results are shooting, crime rate. Now this is a rough part of town. It's south of Hunting Park and near the upper North Philadelphia section of town. It's sure been a roller coaster here. During World War II, this place was jamming. Then, like other communities in the area, deindustrialization meant white flight, and soon, joblessness and poverty crept in. Then there was a little blip of hope when gentrification boosted home prices to roughly $42,000. Then the economy crashed and the home prices dropped to $22,000. This part of town used to have parades, but not anymore. The Fairhill neighborhood of Philadelphia is abundantly bad for crime, poverty, and drugs. Located west of Kensington and along Glenwood Avenue, this part of town is known for its expanse of row houses, where only 20% of homes are owner-occupied. Fairhill also serves as the center of the Hispanic community of Philadelphia and is known for its El Centro de Oro commercial strip along North 5th Street. Now, this neighborhood is also the center of the Philadelphia Badlands. The average incomes here are far under the poverty line at about $15,000 a year for a family of 4. 61% of people live below poverty. That's 5 times above the national average. The intersection of 3rd Street and Indiana Avenue here was listed as number 2 in the entire nation for top 10 drug corners. Where's our worst neighborhood in Philly? Kensington is. The Kensington neighborhood is smack dab in the central part of the worst area of Philadelphia. This is pretty much Philadelphia's Skid Row. You tell people in Philly that you're going to Kensington and they look at you like, are you crazy? Besides the drug addicts all over the place, there's robberies, shootings, stabbings. Just the worst things that can happen in an inner city happen here. The documentary Drugs Inc. did a whole episode on Kensington once. And we mentioned the opioid crisis earlier. No other part of Philadelphia has been hit harder than Kensington, which has seen more than 200 OD deaths. 450 pain pills per person were brought into this community during the height of the crisis. It doesn't get much worse than in Kensington. And those are the worst neighborhoods in Philadelphia. Now you might be wondering where the best neighborhoods in Philly are. Places like Washington Square West, Chestnut Hill, and East Falls are. So there you go. If you're thinking of moving to Philadelphia, you probably want to avoid these areas. And if you already live in one of these hoods, well, at least you don't live in Camden. The end. Hey guys, if you learned something new or you just like this video, make sure to like it. And if you really like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get all of our videos about what it's like to live in different places in America. Peace.